Welcome to the Let's Ruin It podcast, where we take your favorite pop culture media, put a legal spin on it, and like all lawyers, we ruin it. Hi, everyone. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Jenny. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hello, I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
Guys, today we're venturing into the space.
The final frontier.
Yeah, all of that. But also what I like to call the apocalyptic film era, right? Mm-hmm.
Disasters in the making.
Yeah. And I'm, of course, talking about Armageddon. I think this is the epitome of apocalyptic.
Brought it really
films.
front and center. And following this, you had Deep Impact.
Deep Impact was the same year.
Dante's Peak.
Yeah, the
Day
volcano
After
one.
Tomorrow, 2012. I love disaster movies.
I do too.
I watch all of them.
They're super fun.
So,
I find this particular one highly entertaining, right? I mean, I don't know if it's like the best movie.
Certainly is not the best.
Negatory.
Certainly is not the best.
But I think it's very entertaining.
It is watchable, yes.
It remains entertaining, completely implausible.
I mean, never say never.
I mean, most of them are implausible, and so I'm okay with that. This one's a little cornier. It's got the very big, I don't know, all of the tropes you can have.
Yes.
1,000%.
Are present here,
mean,
and for that, I guess I appreciate it.
It's a Michael Bay classic.
Yes.
It was
Michael Bay.
Yes, it was a super blockbuster. This was really the era of the blockbusters, and I think it blockbusted all the blockbusters. Right?
Continue, yes.
Well, it did better than its competition that year, which was Deep Impact. Which
I never liked Deep Impact as much.
overall
I liked
was
it.
probably a better movie in terms
Yes,
of
quality.
Yeah, quality, acting,
What Deep Impact was?
Deep Impact, yes. for
reality of what
sure.
would happen.
Yes.
Maybe
Maybe that's why I didn't like Deep Impact as much.
because it was too true to life.
Right, because I think the idea of this ginormous wave, especially with the possibility of tsunamis and all of that,
Well, and that
right?
shit happens all the
and
time.
that shit happens. And so I think perhaps that it's just a little hits too close to home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
sure. So interestingly, it had at the time that it opened, it had the third highest 4th of July opening weekend of all time behind Men in Black and Independence Day.
Which we've covered.
Which we covered.
Also
both.
classics we've covered.
Yeah.
Go check them out.
And then, it basically just did phenomenally well.
Because it was a phenomenal movie.
In late July 98, it surpassed its rival Deep Impact to become the highest grossing domestic release of the year. It grossed $201.6 million in the U.S. and Canada, and $352 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $553.7 million.
I wouldn't say blockbuster.
It was the highest grossing film of 98 worldwide and the second highest grossing film that year in the United States, behind Saving Private Ryan.
I mean, I think it had that combination of it's obviously very dramatic, but it has the really funny quips, and it's
Star power.
And it's entertaining and
musical star power too, because as Jenny
Am I
has
gonna
been
do it?
bombarding us with the song from the movie done by the incomparable Aerosmith that really gets on my last nerve, and Jenny doesn't seem to care.
No, why would I care about such a thing? But no, guys, we've got Ben Affleck, we've got Bruce Willis, obviously, we've got Liv Tyler, we've got our favorite Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi,
who we
shout
mention
out.
a lot.
We've got a very young Lucius Malfoy.
Yes.
that was wild.
Jason Isaacs,
We've
whom
got
I adore.
We've got Billy Bob Thornton.
Michael
got
Clark Duncan.
Yes, we've got everybody. We've
It's
got
a
everybody.
very all-star packed
Yes,
cast,
let's get to it. Let's talk about it. What is this plot of Armageddon?
It's so dumb, and
I'm glad you guys asked. Here's what happens. NASA discovers that there's an asteroid the size of Texas that's headed for Earth, naturally. And we have 18 days. Liz already said she'd be happy to knock out Texas. But we have 18 days before it wipes up
the whole planet.
the
So we're
whole
not just
damn
talking
planet.
Not
Texas.
just Texas.
This isn't just
This is a
Staten
size
Island. This is not
comparison.
just Staten Island.
No.
Wiping out the whole damn planet. So naturally, we've got to come up with a plan. By we, I mean the U.S.
And
NASA.
what's the magical plan, Jenny?
I will tell you. We're going to get a bunch of oil drillers. We're going to send them up into space.
That makes sense.
We're going to teach them to be astronauts. We're going to make them, we're going to land them on the asteroid. We're
In
going to
just
have them.
over 2 weeks. I mean, can't you learn to be an astronaut?
What? Like it's hard? We're going to drill a hole in the asteroid. We're going to drop a nuke into it. We're going to detonate it from the inside.
This close to the to the planet Earth. This close.
And it has to be done at the exact precise moment.
Of course it does.
Because when it explodes, all of the remnants of it have to pass Earth. And if you do it just a second too late, the remnants are going to hit Earth directly and kaboom.
Well, it's just like Star Wars, where he had to hit that one specific target.
And that's
light
it.
off
And
depth.
this is the genius plan that NASA, the smartest men on Earth, have come up
This
with.
is what they came up with. Except, what would have been smarter?
It's a great point. We'll get into it.
Okay.
It's a great point. But here we have enter Bruce Willis, who is the master deep sea driller.
Really? He's
That's what they say. He invented some drilling shit. I don't know.
got a patent on it, apparently.
Got a patent on it. He's got a crew of lovable degenerates,
Including Ben Affleck.
including Ben Affleck, who was at that point very lovable,
And
including Steve
I
Buscemi.
will say that. It's before he kind of like took a hit on his reputation.
Yeah. This was pre J-Lo. Also, he's secretly dating Bruce Willis's daughter. And they are the only ones who can stop this asteroid.
They're it.
They're it.
team.
They have many demands for the U.S. government because they're like, well, shit, we're getting sent up into space. We got to
we
get
might
something in
die.
return.
We're putting our lives at risk, and we're about to save humanity. Don't make
one
me pay
of
taxes.
one of the demands was we don't want to pay
Give me
taxes.
something.
One of the demands was got to get rid of all the traffic tickets.
Yep.
There's some really good stuff.
Considering the things that what they're doing for humanity, like I'm pretty sure all those demands are like, yeah, fine. Like we don't need your taxes. I don't think we're relying on the money you're paying us.
As if they have a choice at this
don't
point.
have a choice.
Well, in any case, this ragtag team, in the span of 2 weeks, goes up into space. They are trained to be astronauts. They pass all the psychological exams, and
Sure they do.
and they lose a lot of good men up there. Let's be clear, they lose a lot of good men, and then. Naturally, again, as things like this happen, it can't all be so easy. The remote detonator for the nuke malfunctions, and someone has to stay behind and detonate the nuke.
Yes.
And Bruce Willis takes one for the team.
He's the hero.
Because in the
And
end, they do it by like
They
throwing
pick
straws. And it should be Ben Affleck. But at this point, Bruce Willis knows that like his daughter's in love with Ben Affleck. And at the very last second, Ben Affleck, who is preparing to give up his life. And then at the very last second, heroically, Harry, that's Bruce Willis's character, Harry pulls him out.
Pushes him out.
push him as
Takes
takes
his
his spot.
and basically
And
does it
says
himself. He's a hero.
your job is to take care of my little girl. And
Blows himself up with the asteroid.
blows himself up with the asteroid. Everyone cries.
Aerosmith, cue Aerosmith.
Don't want to
Close
fall.
my eyes.
Don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing.
Josh very, very conveniently threw up the time stamp for us so that we could shut the hell up and keep going.
I'll take the cue. Thanks.
Yeah. Guys, there is a lot to dissect here. There is a lot to dissect. Number one,
What's number one?
I mean, seriously.
I'd like to start with the fact that NASA discovers this 18 days to go, and the U.S. basically takes it upon themselves to save the world. The U.S. does not share this information with the rest of the world to a certain degree.
Remind you of anything else?
I mean, like real life or like what?
No, another movie we covered
What,
where we decided not to share information and we took the lead.
Men in Black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No, Men in Black wasn't
Men
the
in Black.
U.S. Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Men in Black is
That's
their
what I was
own
thinking about.
agency. Remember,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were talking
And
about
they
the
have-
fact that
no,
they're
they
a
have-
secret
I was
agency.
thinking of
Of
Independence Day.
Yes.
Because there's ships all over.
Yes, but in Independence Day, they actually coordinate with the other countries. Remember, they talked
Okay,
to the
later,
Russians
but we took
and-
the lead.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, and
Because
certainly,
USA.
and certainly,
Because we do take the lead.
but also,
Who
like,
got to the moon first?
That's up for debate.
Allegedly.
the Russians were up in space first.
I know. Of course.
My mother reminds me all the time.
I mean, defend your peoples. I get it.
Anyway, the point is that the U.S. does not share very critical information because, again, this does not just affect the U.S., right? Regardless of where this asteroid hits, it is a total global ender. Everybody's a goner. So,
in fact, who's gone in this one, Jenny?
France.
I mean, I was thinking Paris, but okay.
Why don't you explain what happens to Paris?
So, NASA learns this, and they are now in the process of, they've come up with this team and they've come up with this plan because it is the best that they can come up with. They don't bother sharing this information with other international sources. Like, I don't know, maybe the Chinese space station had a different plan. Maybe the French space station had a different plan. Maybe the Russians had a different plan.
Right.
Maybe there was someone else who could have come up with a better plan.
A better plan than like getting these
yahoos up into space.
And
granted, spoiler alert, they saved the day.
I know,
so
but
it
like
worked.
there is a duty to notify. Like once NASA determines there's like an extinction like level like asteroid heading to Earth, right? Like the U.S. would be expected to immediately notify the international community, right? Because
I would think so.
Every country has a vital interest in like protecting its population and preparing for like emergency responses, deciding whether to contribute to resources or intelligence to like this plan, participating in the mission, and like.
And by the way,
first of all, another point that has been brought up repeatedly: 18 days. 18 days.
18 days.
The size of Texas. That's when NASA figures it the fuck out?
Yeah. Where were you guys before?
Crap. No, that's just bullshit.
You guys didn't see it
They would have
before.
discovered it ages ago.
And by the way, how do they learn about it? A scientist doesn't randomly see it. It lands in New York. All of New York is destroyed initially, right?
Thanks a lot.
France gets destroyed a little bit later. The movie starts out with New York being completely demolished. And there's, in fact, so this is in, what year is this? 98. So this is obviously pre-9/11. So you see the entire
skyline,
the entire New York City skyline with the Twin Towers. And I actually forgot that there was this scene, and I'm surprised that they have not pulled the scene. There is a scene of the Twin Towers on fire. There's a scene of the Twin Towers literally burning.
Listen, we can't pull and sanitize all of history.
Interestingly, they did pull it from the versions that were played on network television. There is no scene of the
But I
Twin
think if you
Towers
stream
on
it,
fire.
it's still there. But there is the Outer Space Treaty of 1967.
So that
which
did exist.
The U.S. ratified,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like Article 11 obligates states to inform the UN and the international community about phenomena they discover in outer space that could endanger life. So an extinction level asteroid like this one, absolutely
They have
they'd be
to
required
tell
to do it.
people.
So keeping it classified like Billy Bob Thornton like does it's
a treaty
it's
violation.
Well, so Billy Bob Thornton was like, we can't tell anybody because it's going to be pure chaos like you've never seen. Yeah, I get it. But you cannot not tell your counterparts. Like the president of France has to know. The president of England's got to know.
You don't have to know.
So besides the duty to warn, which they completely failed in that treaty, more importantly, the treaty also at Article 4 outright bans nuclear weapons in space. And the 1963 limited test ban theory bans nuclear detonations in outer space. So there goes the entire flippin' movie.
The entire premise of the movie.
No way.
Okay, so I guess the first legal thing is that they violated all of what you just said.
All of the things.
It's interesting to also note that, like, I mean, it wasn't around back then, but apparently now there's an international asteroid warning network that's been set up through the UN, and it was set up in 2013.
Yep.
Like specifically for these purposes, essentially, to share this kind of information.
But when New York gets destroyed, I mean, it's obviously on the news. This is 1998. Nobody asks any questions. And then shortly thereafter, an asteroid lands in the South Pacific, remember? And there's like a scene where there's like a village in China that gets completely destroyed, and there's a tsunami, and there's a whole thing. Is nobody in China asking what the hell happened?
That's what I understand.
At some point on the news, they say 50,000 people died in the South Pacific.
and it's like, why is no one asking these questions?
Everyone's just okay with
Or
it.
not even
Everyone's
asking these
just
questions, but their own like space program.
right.
At that point, it wouldn't be like this happens and you're like, hey, US, what's happening? You,
Right.
But you
US
at least have your own program where you're like, why don't we look to the sky and see if there's anything we should be worried about?
Right.
Because New York is gone, 50,000 people in the South Pacific are gone.
Right.
Like, what?
It's not like NASA is the only space program. There are very many space
As we've
programs.
said, the Russians were first.
Right. or the Soviets, I should say.
Soviets.
The
Oh,
the
Soviets were
Soviets.
first. Yes.
Soviets were first.
It's an important distinction.
It is yes. And so this is there's a lot of violation, like treaty violation by the U.S. by concealing this, by throwing those nuclear weapons up into space. Like there's that's just cut and dry.
I guess the U.S.'s defense is that
we got this.
Somebody had to do something.
Somebody had to do it,
but
number one, but also number two, who gives a shit whether we violate this treaty? If we don't violate it, the whole world is destroyed.
Yeah, but why would not informing other nations, that wouldn't...
They take it upon themselves to control it, but it's not their job to do that, right? They have to share what they've learned
Absolutely.
if it affects everybody else.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you know what? And that's why, like you said, like later in the movie, that like Paris gets blown up. It gets like
So they're
destroyed by
literally in the middle of this. The ragtag team hasn't even gone up into space yet, right? I think they're prepping to go up into space, and chunks of the asteroid land in Paris, and there's no warning. France has no warning. It sounds like even NASA didn't have.
So even though in the end, sure, NASA, the U.S. like saves humanity. If you are France or you're the international community, you're like, great, thanks for that, but you didn't warn us.
Yeah.
We would have evacuated Paris if maybe
110%. So under the duty to warn principles, then there would be claims by both France and China that took direct hits from fragments and didn't get warned by the U.S., who had a duty to warn them and didn't. So they would absolutely have liability with regards to that. In fact, there's another treaty. We got a lot of treaties. There's a treaty from 1972, the Space Liability Convention, that covers damage from space objects that a country launches that are not natural asteroids. The failure to warn claim is the stronger one, but quite frankly, the fact that they decided that the only way to save everybody was to throw nukes up into space that caused damage to the rest of the planet.
Right. They're
that makes
directly
them
liable.
liable.
Like honestly,
Absolutely.
that's like
Well, so this is a great question. Who or what as an entity is suing whom, and in what court?
Well, I would say because they're treaties that came out of the UN, right? It would be whatever court that the UN has that's put together.
The UN doesn't have a court.
Potentially the Hague. That's
So
an
that's the
interventional. That's the international court typically.
That's the only thing that I was thinking of, that they would sue in the ICJ, which is, I think,
well,
it's
but
the Hague.
is there anything really preventing the UN from putting together a court? Because they've never had a violation like that.
It would be
that
ICJ.
magnitude.
Okay.
But
right?
But
they could defer it to
the
them.
U.S. is one of the 5 permanent members, right? And the U.S. can veto anything as one of those 5
but
permanent
the other
members.
4 can out veto them.
I don't think so. I think as soon as one of those 5 members vetoes something,
It's out.
it's out. Correct. That's the point of being.
Yeah, I haven't checked up on my UN law
I think
lately,
the issue.
but
I think the biggest issue is that so the ICJ only has jurisdiction if the U.S. consented,
And the U.S. has not.
and they've not, right?
The U.S. has not consented.
Right. So in that case, they wouldn't have the jurisdiction, right? But you could make the diplomatic claims, right? So I think France and probably many other countries would present a formal diplomatic claim seeking compensation and
Maybe,
your
impose
intervention, your
sanctions?
lack of information, the fact that you concealed all this caused billions of dollars of avoidable damage and loss of life, and so we expect the U.S. to contribute to reconstruction and basically
and quite
give
frankly,
us all your money.
If the U.S. didn't, I mean,
Would they? Maybe they impose sanctions, right?
yeah.
But then again, on the other hand, you impose sanctions, but you're imposing sanctions on the U.S. That's going to hurt France more than it's going to hurt the U.S. Especially when France is the one that needs the assistance at this point, right? They show Paris that's completely destroyed, but let's assume it's gone outside.
But
of
the
Paris,
rest of the
right?
world could, rally together,
Right.
and be the allies together, and
France-
basically kick the U.S. to the curb.
France potentially teams up with China,
Which is a weird bedfellow, but
which
yeah.
is always a
Yep.
interesting situation. But yes, I think let's assume that they find some court of jurisdiction. They're not suing them in a U.S. court. That's not happening. The U.S. has immunity. NASA would have immunity. they took action to save the world, for heaven's sake, right? I don't think they're suing them in any kind of federal district court in New Jersey.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
But okay, let's assume they find some place to sue them. Claim number one, what? Failure to warn.
Yeah. Violation of this treaty and failure to warn. And I guess maybe like failure to mitigate. Like they're
And then I guess France would say,
well, no, but also violation of the treaty because you sent nuclear weapons into space, which is a complete ban under the treaty that they signed, and they violated it.
Yeah.
So that's a clear.
But also,
violation.
I think France says, if we had the notice, we would have evacuated.
Of course.
We would have protected all of our cultural artifacts.
I mean, at least in theory, they could say that.
Theory.
There might not have been enough time, but at least.
But this is where I think the U.S.'s counter defense comes in, or defense comes in, right? They get sued by France, and France says failure to warn. If we had enough notice, we would have saved all of these people. We would have evacuated. We would have saved the Mona Lisa. We would have saved the Eiffel Tower. You know what I mean? Like they just finished rebuilding the Notre Dame. Although no, in 1998.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But whatever. I'm sure they were keeping up with it very nicely.
Correct.
You know?
Exactly. But I think that the U.S.'s counter argument would be, guys, let's be serious. We could have given you all the time in the world, and you still wouldn't have had time to figure shit out, right? Because at the end of the day, you also could have looked up in space.
So that's the only thing. Is like how obvious this would have been. Like, just look up in space. Like, I don't understand. It seems so. Like I just read something that there's like a giant asteroid that's coming here and that could like wipe out humanity in 2,000 years, right? So.
Oh, cool. Thanks so much.
I mean, in 2,000 years, hopefully, cool.
You never know what technology could be invented.
Yeah.
It's like death becomes her.
A giant shield.
Yeah, no, I'm good. 2,000 years, I'm good. I'll sit that one out. But like,
it doesn't concern you.
But if they know that there's an asteroid, like they can already say that there's one that's coming in 2,000 years, like 18 days, like I should be able to see that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Well, the one guy whose wife was like, "Your dinner's been on the table for 15 hours," and he named the asteroid Dottie. Because it too is a vicious bitch who doesn't leave me alone, right?
Yeah,
isn't that what he said? Something like that.
That's a good one.
I want to name it
lines like that. That's why this was number one.
Yes, I love it. He was like, I want to name it after my wife, and she's like, oh, so romantic, because it too is a vicious bitch.
I like that a lot. Yeah. So basically, real bad news on the U.S. No.
Yeah, but I think that the U.S. would really have a counter argument. The U.S. would say, you have your own space program.
That would be fine if they weren't part of a treaty. If there was no treaty that says you are literally obligated to tell
us, yes.
Then you have no defense.
Right. So then that I think is number two, right? Yes. That you've excluded the entire international community. You violated multiple treaties. And who made you the captain of this mission? Right?
Right. So,
but like, again, I think it really brings up a question of perhaps there was a smarter scientist in another country who would have had another idea.
Let me give you a smarter scientist.
Ben Affleck. It's exactly what I was thinking. Ben Affleck is a scientist we needed because he knew better than Michael Bay.
Hilarious.
You want to retell this story?
Oh my
I've
God.
heard this a few times on podcasts.
I think it's a great story. People talk about it all the time. But apparently in an interview that Ben Affleck did about the movie, he said to Michael Bay while they were filming it, don't you think it would make more sense if they trained astronauts to be
drillers than to
instead of training drillers to be astronauts?
And his reaction was just like, shut up. Like that was his whole response. Shut up.
To be fair, they do talk about that in the movie a little bit.
And what do they say?
Right? Because initially they do want to send a team of astronauts up into space, and they bring Bruce Willis in to train them. And Bruce Willis realizes that...
Actually, it's one of my favorite actor guys. His name, I like him. William Fichtner?
Oh, I like him,
He's a good character actor, but he plays Colonel Willie Sharp, and I like his
By the way,
but he's a great character actor. I like
completely forgot that Owen Wilson was in this.
Did you?
Fully
he's very forgettable
in it. Until you see it? Yeah.
So they initially bring Bruce Willis in not to send him into space. They initially bring him in to consult because they effectively stole his patent. He invented some sort of massive drill. He's an oil driller. He drills literally in the South Pacific. And he invented some sort of massive drill. And they stole his patent. and they tried to like rebuild this drill to send it into
eminent
space.
domain. What can I
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you?
yeah.
The Earth's in danger,
Exactly right. But they built it incorrectly. It's not working properly. They don't know how to train their astronauts to use it. And so they bring him in to consult. And Bruce Willis very quickly realizes that they don't know shit and they cannot properly operate this. And that he like gives them a whole speech about how this drilling is a science and
Almost like astronomy.
that's right. Almost like moonwalking.
Almost
Sure.
like physics. Almost like literally like all the physics and math that you need to know to be an astronaut.
Let's see. Harry says, I've been drilling holes in the Earth for 30 years and I still haven't got it figured out.
So maybe Harry's not the right person for the job.
I mean, it just like what a horrible excuse is like, oh, like this is a science. Like so
Yeah.
is being an astronaut.
They
Right.
basically say we've only got 18 days and it's easier
So,
to
really?
and they just have
is that
to
the fastest thing?
Here's what
and
I
they just
I
have to-
don't understand why it wasn't a mixture. Half the team.
well,
and
some
half the team.
there was that lady went with them,
That's
and
not
then the
enough.
colonel went.
Not enough.
There were two.
Should've been more.
There were two real ones, two real astronauts. And I guess the theory, the way that they explain it away in the movie, is that you guys just have to sit in the shuttle and just like, and then do your jobs
Well,
up in
and
space.
to be honest, don't you think there was also a subtext of like, to be frank, we just want them to do what they're supposed to do, and we don't really give a shit whether they survive or not. Quite
Yeah.
frankly,
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
was like,
Yes.
yes, you're sacrificing yourself for the planet.
Yes, which is why I think they probably also agreed to all of their demands to get rid of their
They're like,
tickets. and to
sure.
get rid
Right,
of-
right. Yeah.
Sure.
Shut up. Just go do
By the
what
way,
we
my
want you to
demands
do.
would be like more than that. I'd be like, I want one private island, please. I would like a private
Oh,
island.
hell to the
please,
yeah.
with a PJ. I want like my own private jet, and that's it. And then fine, I'll keep my parking tickets. You know? Like,
Good luck finding me.
yeah, good
So
luck.
I think that that's how they explain it away in the movie.
I guess.
that the astronauts simply were not good enough for the job. So you have to bring in. It's easier.
I'm sorry.
It's easier to
yes,
just train
and I
them.
have also, as I understood it, that this is intended to be the like rising up of the blue collar common man above the intellectual. That they're more important and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
or can be more important
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Another argument. Negligent management of the mission.
Okay.
They send. I mean, honestly, they send a bunch of fools up there, like a ragtag team of clowns.
They're not managing the mission.
No, NASA's
Oh,
negligent
NASA.
managing. They're sending up a bunch of like clowns who they do undergo psychological testing, which all astronauts have to do because it's a pretty big deal to go up into space and like be in this confined space
Absolutely.
for extended periods of time.
I don't think I can handle it personally.
I'm not sure I could. I don't, but also, you're throwing up like the speeds and like you have to be mentally
The
prepared and
G-forces,
physically.
mhm.
Yes. And they clearly all failed their psych exams. Like you could see the evaluator was like, guys, they're not ready for this. But there is no other choice. They literally just like stamp it. They stamp it approved.
Well, my other question, like even going back to like the demands that they made, like can NASA really approve that? Like who is approving it?
No,
like,
it sounds
NASA can't erase your criminal like convictions. They can't like forgive they can't
No.
forgive taxes or like IRS.
No,
like,
but
it's
the
NASA.
so Billy
No,
Bob
but the president has an immunity.
Yeah,
So immunity power.
Billy
and-
Bob's character was working closely with like one of the Joint Chiefs, right? So my assumption was that they basically were
They
like,
gave them
do
carte
whatever the
blanche.
hell.
Do whatever you need to do. We'll
Correct.
do.
I
yeah.
guess, but like they can't dismiss state criminal charges, right? Like
No.
that's so,
No,
like,
I think it probably goes back to what Liz
I
was
think
saying.
they
weren't
could say
expecting anyone to
nudge,
survive.
nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah.
I
You
guess
can do that. You know what I mean?
But they're basically sending these people who are clearly not qualified
And like,
to
what
go.
about criminal background check? Like, there's so much like I mean.
Well, they did do a criminal background check, and the Joint Chiefs guy was like, "Look at this. They all like some of these guys did hard time. Like,
Yes.
who are you sending up on this mission?"
right.
And by the way, the mission fails. Let's say the mission fails. Here's the thing: if the mission fails, ain't no one liable because everybody's dead,
True.
right?
So what do you got to lose?
So what do you got to lose?
I mean, correct, but also like, are they like what kind of employees are they? Temporary federal employees? Like,
I think they're
one of them gets
independent
injured. Let's say one of them
contractors.
like loses a leg, comes
Independent
back, but with
contractors.
one of them loses a leg, comes back, one leg gone, right? Tourniquet, whatever.
I think
Like,
they get a massive.
is it
payout.
workers' comp?
I don't
Like,
think they're
who's,
get- I don't think they're
life
getting a
insurance. Like,
W-2
what
for
about
this.
disability benefits?
I think they're
Okay.
getting. I think they're getting massive payout for this. if they save the world
From whom and in what manner?
the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And is it like disability
I think
benefits?
it's millions upon millions of
All
dollars.
right, because there's like death benefits for like, I mean, what about like, Bruce
There are-
Willis's estate?
But there are people
Sure,
who die.
because his daughter
Yeah.
is basically orphaned at the end of this movie because, God rest his soul, Bruce Willis sacrifices himself to save us.
And he's on the
I mean, there's
teams.
multiple people who die, so their families,
And
like the
sure.
estates, like there's like.
I think there's
who's
massive
Can you
payouts.
sue for wrongful death? Like,
I don't
You
know
know,
that you
I-
can sue for
what
wrongful
about
death.
Yeah.
workers' comp? Like, what about for your like?
I don't think you can do workers' comp because I don't think they were legitimately employees.
Wouldn't they be considered
NASA
temporary,
or
like
the-
temporary federal employees? I mean, what do you classify it as?
Do we assume that they've also signed 5 million waivers?
One would think.
Right? That basically says you can't sue us if you don't come back.
And I think that's why they demanded everything that they demanded
Yeah.
because they were like, if we're not going to make it back, then we want these things for our families or whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, at that point, they'll sign the waivers because they're going to get something out of it.
Listen, guys,
In that case, then like
honestly, if I'm France, I'm literally going, you let Steve Buscemi go up there.
I know.
I rest my case.
it's like we can't get through an
Stop
episode.
picking on Steve because he wasn't
Love
the
you,
worst
Steve.
character,
No.
okay?
No, Steve, stop. Steve
the best.
Buscemi's character, they called him Hound because Liv Tyler said because he's always horny. And the entire premise of Steve Buscemi's character is that he's going around asking all the girls he's hitting on, you're overage, right? You're overage, right? So, like, no, stop. We are perfectly well within
I think
our
that's
rights.
adorable.
Stop it.
He was asking if they're overage. Like that's important. It's
That-
better.
That's
like that's
true.
that's
He at least
equality.
He screened.
He does not
being
want to
responsible.
accidentally. Like, of course, I think
He's
that's
being
that's
responsible.
I think he is being responsible. I think we should
Yeah.
be giving him props.
Yeah. I think that the U.S. will pay out. I think the U.S. will pay out for any injuries. I think the U.S. will pay out for PTSD. I think the U.S. will pay out to the estate of the
I
men
can
that
see
they
these
lost.
families being
Well, yeah,
like,
I mean,
caught up
okay.
in like
And I
years
think
and
it's-
years
and I
of
literally
like
think-
So
red
you've
tape.
got, but
honestly,
you've got differentiations,
literally
right? You've
millions
got the
that they
military
collect.
crew, right? So the military crew is part of the military.
Yeah.
They're going to get the military benefits,
Yeah.
the death benefits. The families will get taken care of. Whatever they get. I don't know how great it is, but they'll get that stuff, right? The drillers, who are not really part of any of this stuff, are at best contractors,
Yeah.
temporary contractors.
Right.
They'll get something, but it's not going to be a whole lot either.
it's not a pension.
No, absolutely not. So, and any kind of wrongful death suit against NASA is going to run up against immunity issues.
Yeah.
So,
No, but again, imagine the PR nightmare. These people saved a literal planet and you're not going to pay them out? Like, they have to pay them out just to
to get everybody to stop complaining.
yeah.
Probably.
I don't know. I mean, this like gets into like, 9/11. Like you have like the first responders, like
Yeah.
those people, like
Yeah,
those
but
families. The families
how-
were caught up in red tape and bureaucracy. And it wasn't
Years.
like people just like, here's all this
Years.
money.
Right.
Here's all this money. Like you ran into literally a burning like
I mean,
building.
Jesus,
like,
you needed John Stewart to go testify in Congress
exactly.
to get them to
So
get off their
I
asses
don't know
and
that
do
it's so easy.
something.
These guys come back and they're like, here's millions of dollars. I bet even though they saved humanity, like governments and stuff, and
They
and
still get
people are
screwed.
still shitty. And so I think these people are like their families and them are still gonna be caught up in years and years of processes being like, I saved the earth and I'm still waiting for my check.
Right.
Like I could see that being like the sequel to this.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we flip it for a second? So now we know what France is potentially going to sue for. What is the U.S. going to do to defend itself? What's the U.S. going to say? I think I have some arguments in mind. What do you
I think
got?
your argument is dead because you are part of a treaty that literally says you have to do this and you didn't do it and there is no defense left.
Forget the treaty for a minute.
No, I can't forget the treaty.
But we have to because we're living in Michael Bay's world, and Michael Bay forgot.
No, because
physics
what's your defense?
and
Like,
legal
can you
things.
show that it would
What's
have
your
been
defense? I
harmful?
saved you?
No,
Yeah.
no, but that's not good enough. It's not good enough because unless you can show that if you guys were involved, not even if you were informed, that would have ruined the mission. No, you don't have that argument.
No.
So you can't just say, "Well, I did it on my own and I got it done." Like, well, in the meantime, Paris is
There
gone.
was absolutely no harm in telling the rest
them.
of the world
I
because
disagree.
no one was
Why?
going to
I'll tell
stop
you.
them. No one was going to stop them. Who was going to say, no, you can't do that?
So I think what the U.S. argues is that there was harm in telling the rest of the world because who do I tell? Do I tell literally every single country on the planet? And do you know what would have happened if I told every country on the planet? Pure chaos. Every country now wants to lead the mission, and now nobody leads the mission, and now nobody's going up into space. And all we have is 18 days. So somebody had to take control. guys, it's us. Am I saying it's right? I'm saying
All right,
this is
so
what
let's
the
go
U.S.
back
argues.
to let's go back to your thing where there's
what?
5 key people in the UN. It is a UN treaty, so why the hell can't you at least have a meeting with the Security Council?
Yeah, I would say
the UN,
I would say the Security Council.
and have a discussion within the Security Council and say, hey, we have limited time. We have a plan.
Either the Security
it might not be
Council-
like the best, but we don't got anything else.
Yeah, either the Security Council or the General Assembly. Like, I mean, honestly, like, you
I
could
don't know
bring
that
this.
I would get into General Assembly
I
because
don't
then
know.
you are talking everybody, but the Security
Doesn't
Council,
matter.
why the hell not?
You know what though? Like, hey, somebody, like the person talking to them is not the person working on the asteroid. So, like, we're doing our mission. I'm letting you know, but we're already on our way.
Sure,
Like, you can't stop
and then what are you
us.
gonna do? You can't stop us,
Right, so they can't stop them. I don't think there is a harm in telling them.
No,
and
because
now
they could
you
have
can handle your
absolutely-
nations how you feel.
Yeah.
is
You're
fit.
right, and they could have, like you said, evacuated. Paris.
Well, so now this brings me to the U.S.'s other argument. You cannot prove causation. You cannot prove that if the U.S. had, in fact, told France, as soon as they found out, that France would have had enough time to evacuate. You simply can't. France can't prove it. Nobody can
I
prove
don't
it.
think that's true. I think
don't
there's
know that
enough
it would've-
people that can, because we do it all the time. You call these supposed expert witnesses that give you like timing and possibilities. They do all kinds of analyses in terms of what's possible and what's not possible. And quite frankly, and if it's a civil liability, you only have to prove by preponderance in the evidence that it was possible that they could have evacuated all of
I
Paris,
think-
and maybe they get awarded something.
I think
That's
that
if you can go to
France-
court anyway, which I think we already
Correct,
decided you
right.
really can't.
I
but-
think that France would have a really hard time proving that receiving the information 2 weeks earlier would have substantially changed the outcome. Because you're not only talking about evacuating Paris. Once they hit that button on like evacuate, pure chaos ensues. And it's not just Paris. We're talking about now France. We're talking about surrounding areas.
You can
We're talking about
evacuate.
surrounding
You can
countries.
evacuate a city. Like if in 2 weeks' time,
But-
you can evacuate a city.
But you can, but you know what's going to happen. It's going to be the like domino effect. It's not going to be just Paris. It's going to be all the surrounding
Sure,
cities.
but
It's going
still.
to be Spain is going to be like, oh shit, we're right here too, and like Liechtenstein is going to say, oh,
I
we're
don't
right
think
here
that's. I don't think
too.
it's the U.S. So that's their problem to figure that out. In their
Yes, I
country. It's not
understand.
the U.S.'s call,
Right.
To make to make.
You're right. You're right. It's not the U.S.'s
Let
call.
France figure that out.
But I think France is going to have a hard time proving that it would have been able to figure it out in time enough to change the outcome. That's, I think, what ultimately matters.
I think they could have at least avoided like not all of it, but some loss of life.
I mean, I think that's
and
what
they
it's gonna-
and maybe they could say, look, we could have contributed this technology and these experts, and that would have actually helped you divert this.
Maybe, but I think that's what's going to be. That's going to be France's uphill battle, right? They have to prove that there is causation. They have to prove not just, hey, you assholes didn't tell us. They have to prove that if you would have told us, it would have substantially changed the outcome.
Well, real life example.
Go ahead.
The best real world comparison is Houston, right before Hurricane Rita hit in 2005.
Okay, yeah.
They evacuated roughly 2.5 to 3 million people with a 100-mile traffic jam. It took about 24 to 48 hours.
100 people died in the evacuation itself. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But
Paris
that's-
is worse.
that's-
Denser, medieval street core, ring road that gridlocks on a normal
But we're
Tuesday.
talking 24 to 48 hours as opposed to 2 weeks.
Listen, guys, again,
They would have done it neighborhood by neighborhood. They
It
would have.
says even 72 hours of honest warning plausibility would empty
think?
central Paris before the fragment hits. That's
Yes.
a lot of people that you could have saved. Paris proper is only about 2 million people.
Yeah.
Even saving 2 million people
Still a shit
is
ton of people.
worth
2
the
million people,
warning.
and we're talking about 2.5 to 3 million people from from Houston.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Like, yeah,
Right.
they absolutely could have in 2 weeks' time.
But I think this is what France has to do. I think France has to prove that it would have made a difference. And listen, saving 2 million people is certainly a difference. So
Absolutely.
I think you're right. They'd have to bring in their experts to show this is how we would evacuate. This is how many
It's
people
almost
we
like
would
any
evacuate.
accident reconstruction, like in the
Yes.
courtroom
Yes.
when you're doing
Yes.
like an injury case
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, but absolutely, that would be. I mean, if you ever made it to a courtroom again, that's our general premise.
And by the way, I
quite
think,
frankly, this whole issue is going to get resolved in the political arena and
yes.
not in a court arena.
And
but
by the
And
way,
also, imagine if you're somebody who's like traveling to France. Like, it's like,
yeah,
like there would have been a travel ban. Like, no one into France. Like, no flights
Yes.
into France.
Oh
Like,
my
think about how
God,
many people are arriving.
yeah.
Tourists. Like, if you just count how many tourists are in France
Sure.
right now today, those are all people that would have gone back to their own countries.
do you know though the question I think
or would have not flown in. to begin
in
with.
at all, right?
the question I think would be whether the U.S. knew that the fragments would fall into France. And I don't think the U.S. did know that.
I think.
Right?
I mean,
I might give you more plausibility on that because if they couldn't pinpoint exactly where it was going to land, then you wouldn't know exactly who.
But I still think that you just inform them, and that's their issue to figure out. It's
Yeah.
about informing them.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, it's less about the actions they took; it's the actions they didn't take.
That they
It's
didn't
the
take.
non-information. It's
And
that-
also, I think France's rebuttal could be, you're saying there wasn't enough time to tell us, but you had enough time to get those guys out
Yeah.
of China. By the way, they were in China. They wasted 2 days flying them from China to the U.S., and then you trained them and sent them up into space. You had plenty of time to do that. You taught them how to become freaking astronauts in the time. It could have
2 weeks.
we
is
could have
2
saved
weeks.
these people in that time.
That is true. So one of the things that I find very interesting, since you brought up training, NASA apparently uses this movie as a training tool for its people,
Oh, really? I didn't
which
know
I
that.
think is amazing.
Wait,
in its
tell me.
in its management and astronaut training program.
How?
The idea is that they use the movie, they show it to recruits as a critical thinking exercise, and they have the trainees spot check all the scientific impossibilities.
Okay, that's good.
In this movie, which I think is great. The thing that they've now got, and they do this exercise like with every single class, right?
I love
so
that.
at last,
it's like a bar exam.
it is, and like
like
last
that.
count
Issue
right
spotting.
now, they are up to 168 mistakes in Armageddon.
Love it.
No one tell Michael Bay.
Which averages,
I love
you're gonna
it.
love this, one scientific blunder per minute.
Wow, how is that possible? Wow.
Okay. I love this stuff.
Well, you
Give
don't
us a
read all
few.
168, but give us a few.
I got some. First of all, they're talking about like kind of what we talked about before. The Texas-sized asteroid is going to be visible a bazillion years ahead of
Right.
time. Not what was it? I'm losing it now. 14 days?
18.
18 days. Thank you. It's going to be decades before that
Okay.
they're able to see something that size.
Okay.
So that's like number one. Second of all, the big one, the bomb flaw. They said that Harry Stamper dropped a nuclear weapon into a 243-meter hole to split it in half. But according to physicists and the calculations that they did, splitting a rock that size, the size of Texas, okay, to divert pieces would have required a bomb 1 billion times more powerful than the Tsar bomba, which is the largest nuclear device ever detonated by humanity.
What about a
So we
hydrogen
don't
bomb?
have anything. No, this one's even more. There's nothing nuclearly capable of
doing
splitting
this.
that size of an asteroid.
I mean, listen, I will tell you, the way that Lucius Malfoy explained it in the movie made total sense,
I
right?
mean, of course
Do you remember?
it did.
Do you remember what he said? He said that if you like shoot a rocket, if you're holding a firework in your hand and your palm is open, you're just gonna like hurt your hand, right? But if you hold a firework in your hand and you close your fist, it's gonna blow your hand apart.
But see, now
right?
here's the other part that I have an issue with, because I feel like most people do know you're not getting fire in space.
Okay.
Okay, like so
Most
you don't
people know that, Jenny.
You need oxygen.
Did you know that people know
Okay.
that?
You need oxygen to build a fire.
That
so
does make
the
sense,
Fact that
absolutely.
that's not there. That's why we wear the helmet.
Just need a dirt
Okay,
flame. I
so
don't know.
there is no oxygen there.
Absolutely.
There can't be a fire in the void like
We're
that.
with you 100%.
Wait, I actually have another question.
What's fire? How does it? What's
How
the
does
word?
it burn?
Fire.
Yeah.
When's it my turn? That's another movie that we did, you guys. Watch that also. No, I have another question. They detonate. They do fly out, but they're still in the vicinity of the nuclear bomb when Bruce Willis sets it off. Do they not get any sort of like nuclear backlash? Like they're not that far away from the explosion.
Well, no, I feel like that's the one more accurate part, because it wouldn't have been able to. There's no air. It wouldn't have been able to
You know
travel.
what? This is just stuff
That's
that
why
Right,
the
right.
noise that they do in space wouldn't have been heard. Okay, like none of that
Well,
stuff
you know
would have
what?
been
I
possible.
actually think that the bomb itself works fine. Lots of information that
We're
Josh
laughing
shared.
because she's
Josh
literally
is
reading
literally
this.
sharing
well,
this
my AI information says it's different.
But Liz, don't you know that fission and fusion are
Really?
self-contained physics, and that they don't need air, and that the U.S. actually proved it in 1962 with Starfish Prime, a real 1.4 megaton detonation,
Keep
250
reading that.
miles up. which also knocked out streetlights in Hawaii and fried satellites with the EMP. Okay,
What the hell's an EMP?
you don't need to know that part. And so, yeah, you don't need air to be able to do that. What changes in space is the effect. So on Earth, most of the nuke's damage comes from the blast wave, which is compressed air. No air, no shockwave.
Oh my God.
In space, the energy comes out as X-rays, heat, and radiation, which most likely just cooks the surface of whatever it hits and blows off a thin layer. So
I don't even know what you just said.
Well,
No, I don't either.
the most important thing is that literally you can detonate the bomb in a vacuum. Like you don't need you don't need the air necessarily. It's only gonna the lack of air, the lack of oxygen is just gonna affect basically
Guys, we are not.
How the bomb
We are not.
How it detonates. Right,
it
right,
can
right.
detonate. It just
We are
how
not
it does.
qualified
does it.
to
Just
discuss the
don't try
that's
this
not
at home.
even a little
That
bit.
is.
I'm
And so
going
I want our
along
listeners
with
to know
the
this.
fact that NASA tested this.
I
and
want our
they
listeners
said
to know
it's
that
not
you can
possible,
detonate a bomb in space. It's important that
Really?
they know that.
I just think we need
which
to stick-
violates the treaty.
Well, okay, in terms of physics, in terms of science, you can do it. Are we giving you legal advice to do it? Absolutely not. There are legal reasons you shouldn't do that.
I just think that we need to stick to who's got jurisdiction. You know what I mean?
Oh, like our lane? Yeah, don't try this at home. But also, let's stay in our lane, which is jurisdiction.
1000%.
But yeah, so essentially, but I think that I don't know. The worst part for me is that they just kept everything secret, and I think anything that they did thereafter doesn't even fucking matter because you can make an argument that we had to do the nuclear thing, we had to break that treaty, we had to do this, we had to do this.
Yeah.
They cannot say why they had to keep this from every other nation
yeah.
in a conclusive way. You can make all these arguments of hey, no, well, France would have never been able to evacuate, or Spain would have.
need a lot of
It doesn't matter. That's not on the U.S. to decide. You tell everyone else, and they can deal with their own countries however they want. They can figure out that problem on their own.
Yep.
Right.
Unrelated to this, before we even know about the asteroid, the fact that Bruce Willis, when he discovers Ben Affleck in bed with his daughter, runs around this ship shooting at Ben Affleck. Workplace harassment? Dangerous workplace, hostile work environment.
Attempted murder.
That's a good one.
I always forget attempted murder. Because I'm like, hostile work environment definitely trumps attempted murder.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, he's putting the lives of all the other people
in
on
danger.
this rig
I
in
hate
danger.
that. When there's stray bullets.
Stray
are a
bullets.
thing.
Hello, drive-by shooting. Yeah.
But also, what if he hits something and something explodes? There's engines everywhere. There's all these things everywhere.
Oh
sir,
yeah,
what
absolutely.
Are you doing,
What a hole
sir?
in something and suddenly everything. I think he should have been restrained and
For
prosecuted.
sure, neglect.
And also recklessness.
Reckless.
Yes, 1000%.
Well, I was going neglectful, but okay, reckless.
No, I think it rises to
could
the
go
level.
reckless.
No, it's more than negligence.
I think so.
I don't think it's
I think
quite
so.
intentional, other than he intentionally trying to hurt Ben Affleck.
No, it's really reckless.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the IP too, because so Harry does have that proprietary drilling system design, whatever,
Yep.
and NASA just is fuck it, I don't care. I'm just going to use your technology. It's usually that would involve
have to
license agreements.
For
and
sure,
patents
they would have to
and
compensate him for using his patented product.
I mean, there must be. It wouldn't be an infringement. I mean, it would be an
No,
infringement.
it would be.
But for the fact that it's an emergency situation, I think there would be some sort of. I mean, regardless of monetary damages, and they're just going to pay him whatever it is.
There would be.
If if a patent judge says you have to pay him,
But that's again
six-
assuming you survive, and you know what? At that point, they pony up because the world survived.
Who cares,
Right?
right?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's exactly it. That they're basically we do what we have to do, and if it
And
doesn't
let the
work,
chips fall where they may.
and
right.
if it doesn't work, who's gonna sue us?
Yep. So
Nobody.
I guess that's really the point of the whole movie. We kind of talked about this.
We're
when
gonna
we-
do whatever the hell we want,
Right,
and then
and
who's
when
gonna
we
sue
talked
us?
about this with Independence Day. Independence Day, we talked about this, or even the Avengers. It's I mean, what are you doing?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? We're just gonna throw out all the laws. So anyway, I mean,
Who are you gonna sue? Thanos? You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
luck.
Yeah,
Good luck.
honestly.
He'll just snap his fingers and you disappear.
Don't you wish you could do
Such
that?
a good
sometime?
movie. Such a good movie. I think we kind of covered all the major legal things.
I really think we did.
Yeah.
I really think we did. I really do love this movie. I
I don't know, Jenny. 2.5 hours of my life I'm not getting back.
It was long, man. It was
It
long.
is too long for the era.
No, but
now-
all of those movies, like all of those big blockbuster end of the world movies, were like 2+
They
I
were.
know.
They
I
were.
can't do that. Like, I mean, we just recorded Ladybugs like from the last episode, and it's like at least that was an hour and a half
know.
of bad.
Yes,
I know.
bad.
Yeah.
But 2.5 hours is really hard. Look, it's like the quintessential blockbuster movie.
Yes.
I think it shuffled in an era of disaster films and
Yes.
big budget,
Big.
huge Michael Bay-esque movies.
Yeah, 'cause, then
An
he
era.
did
He
Transformers.
I mean, it's
This is very much his style of film. I loved it. I thought it was so entertaining, you know,
It was.
all things considered.
It was.
And it gave
It
us,
has some iconic scenes, like them
of
walking.
course,
Yeah.
of course. And we've got this song.
I did like the touching part at the end when Bruce Willis sacrifices his
yeah,
wife
of
and the
course.
daughter's
And then she's
crying,
crying,
and
they
she's
use
with
that in the
Billy
music
Bob.
video.
And
Aerosmith
yeah.
used that in the music video.
Yeah, it was cool.
Also,
that was cool.
I always remember the one scene I've always remembered from Armageddon more than any other scene. is
Oh
where
God, which one?
It's the animal crackers.
Yes, of course. And
course.
he puts the animal crackers down her underwear. Yeah.
No, yeah, he's like, oh my God, there's these mountains. It's like, and I remember like being in middle school watching this movie, being like,
That's so
what's
romantic.
happening here? What is this? Like, is this what we're gonna do later on with our boyfriends? Like,
That with animal crackers. That song took over the entire.
I mean, it
summer,
was huge,
right? Like
It was like, so the year prior, Titanic had come out 1 year prior, and My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah,
Of course.
Of course.
And
Yes.
it's almost like I'm almost nostalgic for this time when there was one big blockbuster movie and one big huge song that came out of it.
You
And
know
we don't
what's
have that
funny,
anymore.
No, I don't think we do. I think you're right.
Extreme.
I'm in a place where I can listen to My Heart Will Go On again. I've gotten over the being annoyed with it.
Sure.
I don't think I've gotten over it with this one.
Shall I try it again?
No, no.
and no
when it
offense-
comes on the radio, I got to be honest, they changed channel.
It still comes on
Can't
the
do it.
radio.
I don't think it
I
does.
know. Of course it does.
What radio?
Ma'am, what are you listening to?
Yeah, what's happening?
The 90s channel?
That's not the
Hello?
radio. That's like
Okay, that's-
Sirius.
Okay, satellite. Fine.
Yeah.
But the songs still come.
But okay, if you're listening to the 90s channel, of course it's coming on.
Right.
It's not coming
It's
on
huge.
Z100.
No.
You know what the problem is? Like, I actually like the song. I like the lyrics. I like the concept.
Yeah.
I am, no offense, I mean, Steven Tyler, I'm sure you don't care what I think.
Oy.
I don't like the way you sing it. I don't.
No,
like
it's whiny.
It's really bad.
It's whiny.
I don't know, you guys. This is Aerosmith we're talking
And
about. Who, by the way,
Steven
still
Tyler,
is
and Steven Tyler is starting to look like a grandma. I'm sorry, but
a grandma
Ma. Uh-huh.
for a while now.
Uh-huh.
no?
Uh-huh.
For a while.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler, of course, Liv Tyler's dad.
Yeah. And originally she didn't want to do this movie because of that, because she didn't want to be like, Steven Tyler's daughter.
like-
He
She
brought
didn't wanna
on
be a-
as the singer before
I think
she was
she
cast.
was.
I would think it would be
my,
opposite.
my understanding is that she was. They were already tied to it, and she didn't want to have more association with it. And also, interestingly enough, Bruce Willis was basically forced to do this movie.
That's right,
He
you had
didn't
mentioned
elect to
this.
do this movie.
Yes, tell us why.
Because apparently he had some picture deal with Disney, and there was a prior movie that he kind of like bailed out on, and so he owed them a movie, and they basically made him do it, even though he didn't want to.
This is
Turned out to be okay. I mean,
I
it
mean,
was
thank God he did this. What was like the other one? Was like the Parent Trap? Like what was the other movie?
this movie is a Bruce Willis classic,
I know.
right?
Yeah,
I would say that maybe not as classic as Die Hard, but
Yeah, but I think this is
Because-
up there with like things
Yeah.
that Bruce Willis is
yeah,
known for.
yeah. I mean, but Michael Bay did all kinds of weird stuff with this movie.
Come on,
apparently,
he sacrifices himself so that his daughter could have the love of her life back.
no, that's a touching premise.
I don't wanna close.
You
But
know,
are you trying to say no other actor but Bruce Willis would have done that?
No, I'm just saying that I think it was very
yeah,
touching.
I think there were other. The interesting thing, as a person who kind of like follows careers of certain people, like
Oh, jeez.
so okay, you have Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
they
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
You know, they win the Oscar,
Oscar,
like
big-
huge.
they're
and
the
then it's
hot
like, what are they gonna do
splash.
next, right?
Right.
And in like the same year, Ben Affleck comes out with Armageddon, and Matt Damon comes out with Saving Private Ryan.
Oh.
I just remember it being like this indication of like, oh, here they are at the same point in their career, and it's like one is going this. I mean, eventually, kind of like Ben Affleck took on like roles that were like a lot more highbrow,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah,
had
yeah,
got
yeah.
into producing and directing as well. So he, but for a while, it really looked like here's someone who's going highbrow, Saving Private Ryan,
Yeah.
and here's someone who's going like Michael Bay film.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
that. So-
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we talked about the J-Lo years there, but Ben Affleck took a major hit with Gigli.
Usually.
In that movie with J-Lo. He took a massive hit, and it took him a long time for his career to come back from that. He took a lot of hits.
Yeah.
So,
Well, at least he's always got Armageddon. So
kudos to him.
Well, thanks for
Thank
going
you
on this
guys.
ride with us.
Thank you
to
for
space.
listening. Thank you for watching. Bring us more suggestions. Please follow,
Please.
subscribe. We didn't give this our rating of how many asteroids would you give this of legal believability. I mean, -7.
I mean, yeah, we're allowed to go negative.
I don't even want to. This doesn't even deserve my rating.
It doesn't rank at all.
This doesn't deserve it.
Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed it nevertheless, because you know what? Entertainment value? No notes. Follow us, subscribe on Instagram, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. Let's Ruin It podcast. We love all of your suggestions. We love all of your comments. I'm always checking to see what you guys want us to do.
Absolutely.
We'll find something fun for you for next time. Diana and I are really, really pushing for Twilight.
We have to do Twilight.
We'll do Twilight. It's
Okay.
fine.
You heard it here first. All right. See you guys next time. Thank you so
Bye.
much.